John Cena, A.J. Styles' author love letter to pro wrestling as Seth Rollins vanquishes Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. Fans in Perth, Australia, were treated to incredible performances at Crown Jewel on Saturday as they got to witness a handful of classic matches. In one more phenomenal match, John Cena and A.J. Styles squared off for the fifth and likely final time. Both competitors' careers are coming to an end. After the music was finished, the introductions were done, the two men came face to face and put on a heck of a show. It was a celebration of pro wrestling as the legends pulled out all the stops. Cena hit an attitude adjustment trying to end the match early, but Styles wasn't having any of it. The two went deep into their bag. Cena hit a skull-crushing finale, Styles pulled out a torture rack into a UFO slam and later a scorpion death drop. Cena even put Styles into a camel clutch and later the walls of Jericho. Rightfully, Fight Forever chants broke out from the crowd as the veterans wore themselves out in the ring. No one had the upper hand, and if they did, it didn't last long. Styles was trying to wrap it up. He went to the ropes for a phenomenal forearm. Cena countered and dragged Styles to the middle of the ring. He paid homage to the late Bray Wyatt and performed his Sister Abigail move. Cena pinned Styles, but the Phenomenal One kicked out at 2. The two emptied out whatever they had left in their tanks. There was no one in Australia, or possibly around the world, who wanted this match to end. Cena put Styles on the top rope in an apparent attempt at an avalanche attitude adjustment. Styles countered and threw him off. Styles tried to press Styles, but Cena caught him. Cena hit Styles with a tombstone piledriver and then an attitude adjustment for the win. This is why we all fell in love with professional wrestling. WWE broadcaster Michael Cole said, Cena has 4 more dates left on his retirement schedule, with the final match coming at Saturday night's main event on December 13th in Washington. The men's and women's Crown Jewel championships were crowned for the second time. The weight of the world was on Seth Rollins' shoulders as he marched toward the ring. He didn't have the Oracle Paul Heyman behind, nor did he have his compatriots in the vision by his side. He said he had to beat Rhodes by himself. Rollins already came into the match setting the bar high, saying over the last few weeks that the winner would help determine the direction of the company for the next few years. Cody Rhodes came into the match with the advantage. He's defeated Rollins 3 consecutive times and was looking for number 4. It was a main event feel in the final match of the event. The tension between the two longtime rivals and on-again, off-again frenemies. Early on, Rollins was already in his head. He was lashing out at the fans. He put his hands on Michael Cole and he lost his focus for a few moments. The frustration turned to aggression soon after. Rollins started to turn his attention to Rhodes' back and shoulders, 2 things that have hampered the American Nightmare in the past. The fight was on from there. Both superstars played mind games and delivered hard-hitting action. A suicide dive from Rhodes to the outside along with a Cody cutter was met by Rollins with a crossroads and a pedigree. The two were in the midst of a classic, with both unsure with how they were going to finish the other. Rollins needed to do something he's rarely ever done, go to a high-risk aerial maneuver. He hung Rhodes upside down in the corner. He marched to opposite corner and hit a coast-to-coast headbutt. Rhodes avoided the pinfall and kicked out at 2. He wasn't done there. Rollins jumped up to Rhodes on the top rope with him next. He then pulled out a Spanish fly into a rock bottom. Still, he couldn't keep Rhodes down. Rhodes did his own aerial maneuver. He angled Rollins across the top rope, positioned him in the crossroads, and hit the massive move. A mere mortal would have stayed down. Rollins kicked out on the pin attempt. Rollins had a dirty trick up his sleeves. He grabbed the Rolex watch that Rhodes gifted him after WrestleMania 40 and nailed him with it while Rhodes attempted another crossroads. Rollins hit the stomp and a super stomp. He pinned Rhodes for the win and finally claimed the victory. The Women's Crown Jewel Championship featured 2 rising stars in the division in Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton. Stratton, in arguably one of her best matches this year, was matching Vaquer blow for blow early on. She tried to go for a swanton from the top rope but was met with Vaquer's knees to the back of her neck. Vaquer took over from there, hitting the Devil's Kiss on Stratton. Just when it appeared Stratton was going to nail the prettiest moonsault ever on her opponent, Vaquer moved out of the way. The Chilean superstar nailed a 450 corkscrew and picked up the incredible victory. She received the Crown Jewel Championship and a ring from WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque in the middle of the ring. "You deserve it," chants broke out from the crowd in Perth as she addressed the fans. Vacker is the second Crown Jewel champion. Liv Morgan won the inaugural championship last year. Roman Reigns attempted to put his rivalry with The Vision in the rearview mirror in a match against Bronson Reed, but his relationship with Jay and Jimmy USO appeared to have more cracks than first thought. Despite Reigns imploring them to stay out of the Australian street fight, the iconic tag team would come into the ring to offer some support. Reed received help from his stablemate Bron Breakker, who speared everyone in his path, including Jimmy USO through the barricade. Reed and Breakker put Reigns through the announce table after it appeared the original tribal chief was on the offensive for most of the match. Reed had Reigns on his shoulders as it looked like he was going to deliver a jagged edge through a table set up in the corner. Reigns got out of it but was on the receiving end of an accidental spear from Jey Uso. Breakker dragged Reigns' carcass out of the remnants from the table to help set up Reed for the tsunami. The Australian native Reed pinned Reigns and picked up the victory. Afterward, as Reigns shook out the cobwebs, he was left in shock that his family members didn't listen to him and ultimately cost him the match. It was a huge win for Reed, as he made a major statement about his standing on the WWE roster in front of his fellow Australians. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky hope to put their differences aside to vanquish the Kabuki Warriors in Asuka and Kairi Sane. Sky's friendship with her former Damage Control stablemates deteriorated in recent weeks as Sky's relationship with Ripley has grown. Sky started off taking it to Asuka in the ring and a suicide dive outside the ring. She looked to be in control until she turned her back to Asuka to deal with Sane. Sky went off the ring post on the outside of the ring, and the Kabuki Warriors started to regain the advantage. The crowd was begging for Ripley, the Australia native, to get into the mix. She tagged in and the crowd popped. Ripley's offensive assault started. She put both Asuka and Sane on her back. She tagged Sky back in as she hit the razor's edge on Sane. It allowed Sky to connect with a missile dropkick, but Sky was only able to get a 2 count on Sane. Sane and Asuka reclaimed the advantage for a few moments. Sane and Asuka worked together to take out Ripley on the outside, but they took their eyes off Sky, who hit a springboard moonsault to get back into the match. Toward the end, Sane pushed Asuka out of the way of a big boot from Ripley. She then took a riptide from Ripley, who tagged in Sky for the finishing touches. Sky hit the over the moonsault and finished the match with the pinfall.